Sorry about the mad, ridiculous, generic, Jesus, man. Opening. I had to delete my. If they offer you upgrade to Windows 11 or whatever it was, Windows 12. I took the plunge and it's been nothing but dramas. That doesn't need to be there, does it? Can you still hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Where's the chat? Yeah, lost me introduction video. Whoever made that for me, if you can send it to me. Yeah, deleted it. I had to delete my entire history, everything. And I thought that it'd only be searches. I thought deleting history deleted your searches. No. Been having to sign into I spent about 4 hours signing into platforms. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Right. If you notice my voice is a bit croaky, the old nodules are on the go. About 5 months ago, someone contacted me and said, I'd like to come out there and we're setting up a YouTube channel. And we'd like you to be our first guest. And they're flying out here. Let me just get a bit of tissue. Sorry, people. And we're flying out there. And we'd like to interview you as our first guest. Yeah. You're literally going to have to suffer me eating a sandwich. I've been that busy today. And he said, we'll obviously compensate you for your time, which is always nice. And I helped them look for a location. It wasn't good enough. So blah, blah, blah. They got out here last week. And last night I met them. They found this nice little... like a ballroom in a hotel somewhere. Got there was 5 of them. No, 4 of them. I won't tell you the whole story, but I'll just explain why my voice is a bit ropey. And you off to the boozer, Picard? Would love to delete my entire history. Well, you're going down the boozer, and a couple of jars is kind of deleting your history, if only for an evening. Nice one packer. Entropy up the top, people. Superchats down the bottom. Sorry about eating on a stream, but I haven't had anything, and I haven't got any energy. So, but now I've got to talk and eat, which is disgusting. Maybe I'll save it for when other people are talking. I've got to get some food in me. I'll spread it out over the stream. 4 of them there. Bottle of scotch comes out. Cameras, notepads. And the boss, the director, I suppose, he was going, I'm going to mind rape you. Okay. We're going to mind rape you, man. We're going to trigger the fuck out of you. I was thinking, okay. Nice to be asked, a privilege to be asked to do something like this. But it was crazy. I'm not sure if they've got any content that they will use because it was just mayhem. Just people shouting across each other and interrupting everyone. And then he said, lovely people. I prefer people who are a little bit, off the wall a bit. But he said halfway through, my brother's coming in. He's got a bone to pick with you. He went, he's 15 months clean or something. And he saw your video saying addiction is a choice. He's got a bone to pick with you, but we're going to save that till half time because that's going to be heavy. So, I was thinking, hang on, what? They're bringing in the big guns halfway through. So it was all going crazy. And then his brother walks in, right unit, tattoos on his face all over the place, little swastika there. And had a chat. Nice people, but I don't know whether they got any content out of it. But for 2 hours last night, I was debating in a a difficult situation. But they seem to be enjoying Cambodia, and like I say, nice people. The lady was a feminist, and that got quite interesting. At one point, the geezer pinched my leg while I was talking to her. I don't know if he was saying, "Calm down," you know what feminists are like. But if ever that does go live, though, I'll let you know. I'll help promote their channel. You know, they've done me a favour. I did have fun, without a doubt, and I think they did. So if ever that becomes a show, I'll promote it and we'll go and have a look at it. I don't know when that might be. So you'll have to excuse a bit of gravel. Right, okay, so I've done a stream a couple of days ago. Wasn't it amazing when Hugh turned up? I told you at the beginning, I put on the thumbnail potential bonus content. You know, I didn't want to say special guests or whatever. You know, Hugh hasn't been online for years. And I didn't want to promise something that I couldn't deliver. And as I told you at the beginning, he said, "Man, I am shattered. I'm going to just flop into bed." And, you know, he's not a joker like that, Hugh. He tells you what he's going to do. So when he turned up, and I thought it was very good timing as well, because he let me and Dan, you know, Dan was also the guest, because everyone loves Dan, and rightly so, because he's great. Yeah, I thought it went really well, considering in 2 days it's had just under 5,000 views. Now that's incredible, because live, I think we peaked at about 600 concomitant viewers. But, you know, for that many people to watch a replay, and the analytics are great. You know, usually people watch the first sort of 20, 30 minutes, but the analytics show that about 70% of people watched about 80% of that video. That's unheard of. You know, even for big streamers, you know, 2-3 hour streams, people are a bit like, yeah, or they've fallen asleep because people put these things on to go to bed. Couple of hundred comments in the comments from names. Most of the names I don't recognize, which is good, because what's happened is conversations are being had. Not got a problem with that. I've got a solution with that. That's the solution. Let's talk about these things. It is okay. I feel like I need to say this, because some of the strange kind of schoolyard ad hominems, just, you know, people saying you're a cunt, you know, okay, you know, not that helpful though, I suppose. But a lot of interesting things said. So I thought, since people have been bombarding me with screen grabs of what different people have been saying about me as well, Dan and Hugh always get, I mean, actually, Hugh did get a little bit of a beating here and there, but, you know. So I thought, well, the honourable thing, the noble thing, you're allowed to say that about yourself, the noble thing to do would be to have a stream where people can come on and they can tell me what they think, and we can discuss it like adults. Now, if anyone comes on and just starts shouting at me, that's not going to last very long. If anyone comes on without a conversation, you know what, you know, I'll let you have it if it means that to you. If you really just want to publicly abuse me, well, you can do that. I'll give you a couple of minutes, but only a couple of minutes, because, you know, there's adults wanting to talk. So no doubt, judging by the comments, no doubt you'll be queuing up. So let me say hello to a few regulars. I will say hello to a few not regulars, though, because it's nice to see them. Hello, Chasworth. How are you, mate? Hello, Rags. Chatting to Rags earlier. The madness of YouTube. Phoenix Reborn. Hello, Phoenix Reborn. Packer, he's saying hello, but I think he's going to the boozer. The boy Cray, how are you, mate? Hello, John. Been a while, son. Good to see you. Moody Edge is on at the firm. Hello, John. Woodlander's here. I'm here till 1:15. Oh, hang on. I'm going to be tied up till 1:15. midnight my time. All right, yeah. If still streaming, I'm good. Yeah, I'll be hanging. This could go on for a while. It'll be lovely to talk to you, mate. Good stuff. Hello, Al. Yeah, that's what I sort of thought. Hello, Andrew. Lovely email, mate. Lovely email you sent me earlier. I'm going to consume food while saying hello. This comes up a lot, running away. Well, I agree with you. Let's just say what it is. Moving away. I mean, running away, it's an unnecessary pejorative, isn't it? You know, I didn't... No. I considered my options. And I thought, what are my objectives? And then once I understood what they were, I thought, how do I achieve that? And I did. Now, it might not be an option for everyone, but I'm not sure why. You know, you can change your situation. People do change their situation. I was a homeless street junkie. You know, I didn't have anywhere to live, nor did my girlfriend or my dog on a bit of string. And 4 years later, I had a business doing $5,000 a day. So you can change your situation. That is a possibility. And, you know, that's the sort of thing we can talk about, you know. Nice one, Steve. Lovely. All right, Vincent. Excuse me. Hello, Dan W. I was both in complete agreement with you and Hugh and disgusted by the defeatist attitude. Well, you know, I've seen comments saying, I'll never run away. I'll go down fighting. You only get one life. I mean, is that really how you want to spend it? It doesn't seem to make sense to me. You know, I can imagine you like homeless, sort of hated by the majority of your countrymen. You know, can barely get employment. The welfare's all ended. And you're like, I'm still here though. You know. But maybe. Well, no worries. There's plenty of time. People can come on. Right, here we go. Oh, you've come back. I am just killing a bit of time so some people can turn up and I can get a little bit of food in me. Oh, that's interesting. Byron. Hello, Byron. Semiogog. I just need to point out that Semiogog is a post-structuralist denier. And I'd prefer it if people in the Glorious House of Scrubs would use his full title. Semio post-structural denier Ogog. Okay? Semi-post-structuralist denier Gog stream last night relates very well to the stream you did. Interestingly, the feminist from last night was from South Africa. And she left. She ran away. And she's now doing very well. You know. I'll have to check that out, Byron. Nice one for the tip. Hello, John. How are you, son? Hello, Emma. Right, I'm nearly through the food. Hello, October. Did I say hello to you, Rags? We talked over, so I'm confused. Matt Zucker's here. Hello, son. Hugh was on the offensive. I used to spend like months making videos. You know, the work Hugh put in, he dedicated his life to his YouTube channel because you have to make it successful. As successful as Hugh's was, you know, months of research, scripting, editing, and then you upload it and YouTube say, nah, you can't show that. And then you edit a few bits out and they go, nah. Then you edit a few bits out and they go, and then you're just like, well, that's that months of, you know, probably hours wise, about 72 hours of work down the Swanee. I must admit, it felt good to be part of it, Dazzy. It really did. Well, Dan's a very good friend of mine, and I don't know where you got that from, because I know what he thinks about these things. What Dan's point on the stream essentially was, what is anyone doing? You know, in the comments of that stream, you know, you just run away, you do this, you do that. You know, we're British, we're English, we're fighting people. But I didn't see anyone saying, which is why I'm doing this, 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 and this. I mean, what is anyone actually doing? I think people underestimate the size of the enemy here. You know, the globalist machine. It's literally got armies. It's literally got nuclear submarines. But no, but I'm an Englishman and I will fight to the last. But you're not. Most of the people who said things like that, I doubt they do anything. Watch YouTube videos, and maybe I'm wrong. You can come on and tell me. You can come on and tell me. Let me just finish this. I know it's rude and unpleasant, but I need a little bit of energy. Hello, mate. Good to see you, BUA. Charlie Sparkles. Martin W. Hello, Marsh. Paul Salmon. Hello, son. Andy Mack. Henry Hill. Hello, mate. Oh, I'll tell you what. No problem, the Cutest Club. There's still a few people I haven't sent it to. When I first started talking about the long-term index investing, which was about, what, a year ago, 2 years ago? Well, I can say I know exactly how many people it was, because you use my link, we both get a free share. 53 scrubs started long-term investing with ISAs. And I've done a poll recently, and most people held their stocks during the down, and now they're all going up, which I predicted because history predicts that. Markets are volatile, they go down, you buy, they go up. Since that stream, and I said, if you want more information on that, hit me up. I think I've sent it out like with, you know, blind carbon copies, so you can't see everyone else's email address. I've sent that out. I think I've done 3 batches now, and each one was about 15 to 20 people. So, you know, 45, 50 people have requested that information, which to me is encouraging. Mrs. Me, innit, has schizophrenicized herself. We will come. Have you changed your pronouns? Are you a they? Nice to see you, love. RMF, hello, mate. I bet you'll get none, Chris. They won't phone in. The Woodlander will, I think, if he's available and we're still going. But I do fear that. I do fear that. And that will be a shame. If that does happen, I imagine people who didn't have what we could call the anger might call in and possibly talk about why there's been a lot of sort of negative reactions to it. But I don't think you can justify personal attacks. I think it's just immature, isn't it? It's just calling people names is a bit odd. I mean, if it's a joke, okay, that's all right. Anyway, look, I've eaten me scran. Hi, Northerners. Hello, Kajetto. How are you, son? Hello, Raptak Tulipba. Lulu's on the firm. Doc Shelley's on the firm. Loomy says he ran away to the wrong place. Yeah. I mean, you know, yeah. Je suis désolé, monsieur. No, je suis désolé, mon frère. There you go. That's an interesting one while I'm just waiting for the numbers to pick up. The 130, though, that's all right. I get on well with Gavin, actually. He's been on the channel a couple of times. I think once, I said it on the stream the other day, once the welfare state's gone, well, that's an interesting situation. But do people leave? I mean, I even said the other day that a lot of them would leave, but a lot of them aren't going to leave. A lot of them are going to start taking things, because that's what happens in the countries they left, which is why they left it. You know, the research is in on this. The receipts are in. You know, crime, theft crime, you know, property crime, it is mainly caused not by rather than saying not by, what usually motivates property crime, theft, is that people want what other people have got. You know, it's the distinction, it's the class, you know, distinction that causes people to take things. When countries are kind of majority on a plane, they kind of work well like that. But yeah, people see other people with stuff they haven't got, and you know, it's like from an evolutionary viewpoint, it makes sense, because men need status to attract women. Men need status to attract women to procreate. And if they're too lazy to work to get the money to show their status, which is what nice clothes, nice house, looking after yourself, that sort of stuff costs money. And if you're too lazy to work for it, you go and take it from someone else. So when the welfare state collapses, as it inevitably will, because you can't have open borders and welfare, there's only so much, you know, the amount of people who pay taxes, the percentage of people who pay taxes compared with the amount of people who take it is already completely unreasonable. And they'll keep trying to drag more and more money out of them, and they'll keep trying to drag more and more money out of small to medium enterprise businesses, put the corporation tax up a bit. That's another 5% from everyone. And then they'll be like, yeah, I'm getting out of here because this isn't tax efficient. It's not a tax efficient nation to make a business, considering the options. Will everyone leave? Where are they going to get the money to fly home? Have they got a home? Are they going to be welcomed back at home? Or are they going to just think, fuck it, I'm taking the neighbour's house. Come on, there's 20 of us. There's only 2 of them in there. Go in there, they can live in a tent in the garden. What are they going to do? Tell the police? We've seen what the police do in London when it all kicks off. They run away. They actually do run away. You know. Nice one, Brian. Brian, did I actually congratulate you for being the huge, the brutal quiz winner out there with you amassed 11 points. It was insane. Poke the Bear he was on his way, but good Lord. You showed your true stripes there, son. You really turned that brain energy on. Nice one, Brian. Thanks for that, Ayrton Senna. Dazzle Ship says, is it hypocritical to oppose immigration while being an immigrant yourself? Yes, of course it is. Yeah. I don't oppose immigration. I oppose mass immigration. I oppose demographic replacement. So, you know, I actually think a small amount of immigration can be good for nation states. Right, here we go. Let's see if anyone wants to come in. Now, because I got rid of all my, I'll have to, what? I don't know what's going on. What's this upgrade, Lark? Did I say hello to you, Mr. Hill? I'm sure I did. My head's all over the place. Hello, Cat Squatch. I'll try again anyway. Hello, Henry. Dazzy's love being back as one of the scrubs. I'm glad you're loving it. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Tommy, go and check out Gavin's a lawyer, and he's turned his hand to mosque busting. So, it's not really the right to reply, but we'll have it. Tommy, I'll get back to that. But you want to go and check out Gavin Bobby's stream. He's got his own channel. Not stream, channel. And that, you know, to get it from the horse's mouth I only have one person on at a time. So I'll talk to Packer first, and then I'll get the other couple of people who just popped in. And there's plenty of them. Right. Hello, Packer.
Hello, how are you?
Did you see the stream the other night?
I saw some of it, but shock horror. Then I went down the pub.
So you
but
haven't...
I got the gist.
Right. What do you make of it?
Right. So I kind of agree with what you were saying.
I'll bring you in after Packer. Right. You're next in. I know you've got a time limit, so I'll bring you in next.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm kind of on the same page as Dan, though.
Which is what?
That I'm waiting for something to happen. I think that it's all going to go to shit when the welfare system breaks down. Then things will change.
But that wasn't
There's a very good position.
Dan's position is essentially, what are the solutions? He's looking for solutions.
Yeah, as am I.
Coffee, I'll get you on a bit later, mate. I only have one on at a time. I don't have people sitting.
I've got a question for you, though.
Well, hang on a minute. Hang on. Dan's thing is, no one's offering. He doesn't see any solutions. You know, he doesn't. The ones that are out there at the moment, he doesn't have any faith in anymore. And it's all very well people saying, no, we've got to fight. There's so many people in the comments and in the lifeboat and that, no, we've got to stay and fight. But what? Like with your fists? And I know that sounds like a joke, but it's not actually. Because what other fights are people doing? What are people doing? I don't know. I don't see it.
At the moment, you're right. They're doing nothing.
So I think that was Dan's point. I know it was, because I've spoken to him after, and he's explained that.
Nothing's happening, but I think what we need to do is organise ourselves ready for when systems break down, so that we can then continue while those that came here for benefits and free housing are left with nothing.
But are you doing that, Packer?
I will be. I'll be joining Woodlander.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave that conversation with Woodlander. So you think, okay. So you're
I don't plan on going anywhere at the moment.
Right. Okay.
But my question for you is, okay, so you're in Cambodia, which is up and coming, as you've said.
Yeah, it's growing. Yeah.
What are you going to do when this shit gets there?
Well, it already is. I mean, that's part of the up and coming nature of the country.
What I mean is when it gets there, like it is here, because it ain't.
I don't think they'll allow that. They're a very proud nation. They're currently 98% Khmer people, and they're also Buddhists. You know, religion is very strong here. How's religion in England at the moment? I mean, they're knocking down the churches, aren't they? They're empty.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't think they'll necessarily. I can't see that happening. I mean, Western Europe is the example. I mean, look at Russia. Do you think it'll happen in Russia?
No.
Well, that's.
I don't think it's happening. It's not happening in Hungary, and it ain't happening in Poland, is it?
Yeah. So, and that would pretty much be my same answer. However, I do agree that the globalist machine will try to. You know, they're already sanctioning Hungary. You know, sort of covert sanctioning. They're not helping Hungary. The UN's like, you know, just they're trying to strangle that project.
Yeah, but Italy's voted right wing. Things could change there.
Sold out a bit, hasn't she, already?
Well, she's cancelled Pride Month, which is a good start.
I mean, but is it, or is that Well, I suppose if you.
Of course it is, and stuff's happening that is fucking up their argument. There was a thing in America. Do you watch Salty Cracker?
Does this stuff really rest on arguments, or does it rest on corporate and governmental decisions made by elites of what they want to do, regardless of what arguments people are having on the internet or in boozers or in the street.
No, arguments in the boozers on the street and on the internet don't actually count, other than maybe they wake people up. But what actually counts is people voting with their wallets. Right? Target have removed all that rainbow shit.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure that
Budweiser's took a dive.
Like, yeah, I'm not so sure.
They try and push these things.
Hang on
when
a
they
minute.
Step too far.
I'm not so sure that Bud Light thing is the success that everyone's celebrating it. Yes, it's gone down X billions, the market cap, but this isn't marketing what's going on here. This is branding. And the woman who done it outright said it. She said, we're targeting a different audience because she realizes she's got to get out. She wants the youngsters on the Bud Light. Now, the older people taking it off the shelves and all that, oh, we ain't selling that anymore. No, it's all going down. But in terms of branding, everyone's talking about Bud Light. And the likes of you and me ain't going to drink it because it's not very nice. But the younger generation who don't, on the whole, generally, I'd say the tendency is don't care about trans people sponsoring goods. So in terms of branding, it's been an absolute success. The name Bud Light has been spoken about probably more than it ever has. Now, that might take 4 or 5 years to actually work financially, but these people aren't idiots. It's a massive alcohol producer. They wouldn't have sat in that boardroom and said, hang on a minute, there's loads of right-wingers, there's loads of people who hate this. Don't you think that they'll just take the piss on that and, make us look bad? This would have all been understood as part of the process. I'm not so sure it's a success that it appears to be. The get woke go broke thing,
I think it is.
Yeah, but the get woke go broke thing hasn't really come true with most of the companies that it's been said about.
Up till now, but now it's starting to.
So, okay, so you're putting your faith in moving to a commune, which is all right. If you think that's going to work. And
I have to, yeah.
Okay, and people saying don't buy this beer.
Right, well, you're putting your faith in that Cambodia will not buckle under globalism.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean? It's like you're saying, well, I don't think it will.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not.
I think it will. Like if you think
but that's not the point.
So then
the argument, I think it's a different argument what's going to happen to Cambodia because we can only predict that. We can guess at that. The argument is whether England can reverse the multicultural project that has dug well deep and has already got the capital city minority indigenous people. I mean, if you want to say to me that Cambodia is going to be a multicultural hellhole in 10 years, maybe.
Well, if they succeed, they won't stop with just the West, will they?
Well, maybe. What? I don't know. It's a bit of a prediction.
Why would they?
Because they've got lots of money. Western Europe is minted.
Yeah, but it
Cambodia,
won't be,
not so much.
It won't be, will it? It will collapse.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I haven't got the economic foresight to see Western Europe collapsing. I mean, when you're importing 5 million Africans for low-wage labour, that's actually an economic policy, and actually quite a clever one. And that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, but at some point, then they will get old. They will need the welfare, and it will crumble under the weight.
But we also complain about these people having 5 or 6 children. So those 5 or 6 children who are also doing low-wage jobs, helping.
Well, no, they'll want educating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're still going to need doctors and dentists, same as everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, economically, it works. It works. I mean, we've had it in England for ages, and you know, England's
my point is once countries like England in the West become third world countries, which they will, because we're basically importing them, that is what will happen. Agreed?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I think on a financial level, they'll actually do very well. It won't be distributed in things like welfare, though. I do see the welfare thing collapsing at some point.
So how are you define, like, because there's rich gated communities in every single country, third world, first world, wherever. So how are you defining that we're not going to end up a third world country with people begging on the streets?
Well, there already are people begging on the streets. There's more
but I mean, like en masse, like
here.
without a welfare state, people no work, no eat, starve.
There's no welfare state here, and there's not people begging on the streets, because when there's no welfare, people tend to work. That's why the collapse of the welfare system doesn't necessarily work in the favour. You know, I posited that people might leave, but they might not, because they haven't got a lot to go back to.
They won't go back. They'll go somewhere else.
But why?
Because there's nothing here for them anymore. There's no freebies here. They'll go where the free food is, where the free houses are.
Well, but where would that be? Where? But literally where? Because they've got to get there. Right. You know, they'll have a home. They'll have a home in England. So why would they suddenly find 5 or 6 grand to get the flights for them and their kids, to take a risk to fly to where?
Where are they finding it now?
Well, working. I mean,
they're coming from nothing now and finding that money to get here. So yeah, they'll do that again.
Because they collectivise in their native nations. That's what they do. That's
collectivise in here.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just explaining now. This is why that recently I've been talking to loads of estate agents, and they all said to me that the majority of their customers aren't Indigenous people. And I said, what kind of percentages are we talking about? And he was like 80, 90. And you always hear young English people, I can't afford a house. I can't afford a house. I've got to rent. Well, out in Bangladesh, when 30 families in the village work their asses off, save up a fortune, send one bloke out to buy a house and then rent that house, save up that money, buy another house, then rent that house, because they collectivise, because they work as a group. But we're kind of going all over the place here.
Back to my original question to you is, I don't see why they're not going to do that in Cambodia. Well, be careful that Cambodia doesn't get really on its feet and decide that it can have a welfare state, because if it does, they're coming.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When Cambodia gets put on its feet and goes...
But Packer, never have I said I've escaped.
I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did.
Said that, you know.
No, I'm not saying you did, but that was that. And that was my question to you. What are you going to do about it if it comes your way? Then what? Because I don't see why globalism is just going to take over the West and then
I mean, by definition, global. But
yeah, exactly.
You also said you can't see it happening in Hungary or Russia.
No, I said there are still strongholds in the West.
Yeah.
And
there may be strongholds in the East. You know?
Yeah. So from your position, open pray that Cambodia is one of them. That's all. Do you know what I mean?
That's your advice.
I'm not here to have a row here. I just thought it was an interesting question.
I'm all right with a bit of prayer. I will do that. And I thank you for your advice, mate. Thanks for coming on and keeping the Picard tradition first. I didn't think that would happen today.
That's all right. See you later.
Are you gonna no. Are you gonna sign up for Woodlanders thing?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You told the missus?
Yeah.
She's up for it?
She's snoozing. She just said, what are you doing? But yeah, I have told her.
All right, Packer. Thanks for coming on, mate. Look after yourself.
All right. See you later.
Ta-da. Hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I can't get rid of Packer because he hangs around in the green room. I'm all
Let me see if I
right.
can turn this volume up.
Oh, what, me?
That's
Or
better.
you? Okay.
No, that's me. I was just turning the volume up. I couldn't hear you properly. Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear, mate. Loud and
Good.
clear. So,
Right.
Frodo.
I'll jump straight in. I watched the stream yesterday. Firstly, great to see you three back again. I was always a big fan. I've spoken to Dan privately when he kind of came back briefly onto Telegram.
Yep.
So I got a couple of things to say after watching the stream. First thing is, you hit just about every point, right? It's gone a long way down the line in the UK, and I can completely see how anyone can go, well, yeah, you're never going to get it back. You're never going to get that. You're never going to get that ethno state. And you could be right. You could be right, but never say never. I understand where Dan's coming from completely. And I think what he's doing personally, right, by actually concentrating on his own life and improving his position, I've been saying this all the way along as well. The way to do that is to become self-employed, if possible.
Yeah.
Well, if not, then work your way up until you're in management positions. Get some money behind you. That will give you options.
Yeah.
I've spoken about that for the last 2 years. The way
I've
The
seen you.
way I live gives me more options than 98% of people I know. 100%. Wow. And the reason being, my outgoings are basically zero, which means I can now choose, do I continue to work and have a lot of free cash, or do I have more free time, which is really what everything comes down to. You either want more money or you want more free time. So I've kind of got a balance here, which is working well. Over the last 2 years, I have had hundreds, literally hundreds of people say they want to do the same.
Sure.
Loads of issues, though.
Yeah.
Especially with working class white people, right? Which is, I'd love to do that. Okay, first thing is, how much money have you got? Well, I've got about £12.50. Well, you ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible thing to say. Forget it. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You need to. I saved solidly for 2 years. I never went out. I didn't have a holiday. I never bought clothes. Nothing. 2 years. No takeaways. And that money, I was still £5,000 short. I had to borrow £5,000 to buy the plot of land. So it's not easy.
Yeah.
I've helped 20 families do the same as me in the last 2 years.
Wow.
They've bought their own land. They've built their own place. So that's an achievement. I've worked with groups, which is where the initiative came from. By working with larger groups, you're looking at larger plots of land and how this could be done. And can it be done? Well, it can. You can do it. There's things you can do to get buildings onto land for, let's say, 20 people. Land prices in the UK have doubled in 12 months.
Yep.
Now, you've got to look at why. And I can tell you why, because I looked into it and I've looked who's bought the land. The land is being bought by large corporations, not by individuals.
Yeah.
If it's bought by individuals, you can usually trace them back to a large corporation.
Wow.
So although it may not be the corporation's name on the deed, it is the corporation that owns it long term.
Why would I know this isn't what you're driving at, but why would they do that? Just to keep
why
it
are they doing
undercover?
it? Right, there's 2 reasons.
No, I don't mean buying land.
Why would they do it undercover? Because a lot of if you go down to Devon and a farmer wants to sell his bit of land, he would much rather sell it to someone, to an individual,
yeah. Okay,
not to
Asda.
Carbon offset corporation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But land is also now being advertised. Buy this land, perfect for regenerative farming or regenerative agriculture. which is kind of code, sounds lovely, but it's code for carbon offsetting, carbon collection. You buy this field, simply put a big fence around it, and you can offset enough carbon, right, to run a fleet of limousines. Great, isn't it?
Hang on, you'll have to explain that to me.
Okay. Soil collects carbon. Woodland is even better. It sequesters carbon.
Okay.
So if I own a woodland, I can run my car, which produces carbon,
and offset
because it offsets it.
You know what? I was talking to this company that were trying to sell me it was a marketing tool. There's no need to go into the details. I'll keep this short. And they said one of the things we do is we're 99% carbon balanced, or
carbon neutral.
Yeah, something like that. I you know, the meeting was going on too long anyway. I said, well, to be honest with you, I don't give a shit about that. And she said, well, you might want to, because the research suggests that 80% of consumers care about this. And I was like, eh? Yeah. She said, yeah,
but she's right, because they're being told to care about it.
Of course, they don't really care. But I was shocked. She said, your conversions, your internet sale conversions, the papers are in, will go up if you can say that you're carbon neutral. Yeah. And so I imagine they're probably doing something like that. Just it's a blank.
Of course they are. Wow. It is a blank. But what it does in a country the size of the UK is it massively restricts where you can go. Which, from the people who are running this, from their perspective, not a problem, because you're going to be restricted to a 20-minute area anyway. Like literally, you're going to have no car within 10 years. Forget it. There's no private transport. The initiative is not to do with everyone, let's go and live in a commune, right? Or live in the woods, or let's build villages. It might come to that, right? But if it does, the first thing you've got to do is own the fucking land. Without,
to be honest with you, I did check out the website, you know, when you first started talking about it. That was the impression I got, that there was going to be shares.
Well, there is shares. And the reason being, right, there's a bit of psychology.
Oh, you've broken up. Damn. I don't know if that's you or me.
It's like, right, are you back? Yeah, so people will.
I can hear you.
You're back. You're back. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Right. Yep, just about.
People will, you'll know, if you're self-employed, you'll know this. You'll work longer hours, harder. You'll look out for your business a damn sight more than you will someone else will.
Yeah, by about 80%. Yeah.
So I've set this up so that the people that get involved own it. They own that company. Therefore, they own the land we buy. Now, how we use that land will be varied. There's food production that we're going to need. And I'll get into why in a minute. But we're going to need to be able to grow our own food, keep our own livestock. We're going to need somewhere to go. I mean, that's really important, is that actually, if you want to take your kids camping for a weekend, right, and you've got to have somewhere to go. And these places, right, are disappearing.
Yeah.
Literally, places like the national parks are increasing the land that they own. And you think, well, that's a good thing, a national park, everyone can go there. No, they're increasing the land they own and then restricting the public access to it. Because they can't have you damaging habitat. So more and more, they're just blocking off your access to the countryside, to nature. There's only one way around that, and that is property rights. You own it.
But my aim is, when you said at the beginning that this will require money, I can't help but think it's going to require a lot of money.
Millions.
No, I mean your deal. You know, for people to join in.
10 quid to join the club, right? What I said is I want 1,000 people, and I want them to put in £1,000. That's £1 million. We will hit that in the first year. We're at £30,000, right, in less than 2 days. Less than 2 days.
But you know, the legal wrangles that you're going to have to deal with, lawyers.
Yeah. Listen, I've already.
I mean, this is your life. I know you know this. I'm kind of saying this more for people watching. If they don't know.
You're right. And so, listen, even setting up that thing, so I had to set up a private members club because there's more than 25 members. It needs a constitution. That had to be worded and written in a certain way. So as one, it's legal. Two, there's no discrimination. But three, I can manage to keep some people out. Hence the private members club. But because it's a club, it can't buy anything. The only things that can buy anything is an individual or a company. So I had to set up a company. That has to be done in a certain way. So all of these things take time.
Can you pick and choose who can join?
To a certain extent, I had to get on advice on how to word it. But with a club, it does give you the opportunity to kick people out.
Can you turn down people based on ethnicity?
I haven't gone. Hang on. I haven't gotten. Yes, you can. You can't, right, restrict people on colour, but you can restrict people on ethnicity.
Okay.
But I haven't gone that route, and the reason I haven't gone that route, and we looked into it, the amount of pressure that would have been placed on it right from the beginning would have just been, it would have attracted too much. So we've decided not to go that route.
I think this is going to happen anyway. I think
it will.
The left will look at you, they'll watch all your videos, they'll go through them with a fine-tooth comb, anyone else who's on it, and because it's a members thing, those details will have to be available for public access.
They're there.
They'll find all the other people who've made videos, or they'll go through all their comments, say that Nazi plot they're trying to build, and whether it's true or not, and I don't think it is.
No,
it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And then you're going to have the local community coming down protesting it. We don't want Hitler Youth in our woods. And when they've got quotes from you, you know, I've watched your videos. It would, you know, it's a big problem. And it's going to be an issue. But I've made plain on the website, right? In the membership thing, right? This is a non-political organisation. The plus we've got is actually we've got people joining, which are families that are not from this, not from our traditional sphere. But a lot of people got woke up during the last 3 years. It's grown well for a beginning. But listen, there's a second part to this, which I don't know if you picked up on. So the first part is land purchasing. And then to decide how we're going to use that land. It could be recreational. It could be for livestock. It could be for farming. It could be for homesteading. All these different options. The second part of the initiative is to fund business startups. The amount of people that come to me with an idea, and I think, do you know what? That's a really good idea. You know, go and see your bank, get a business plan done. And the banks don't want to know. And if they do, and the bloke needs £5,000, he's then hit with another £3,000 in interest payments and bank fees, and it's a nightmare. We should be looking at funding our own people, right? And supporting them in business. I agree. For years, I have heard, right, and from you and lots of other people saying the problem with the right is they've got no big backers. They've got no millionaire backing them. They got no. Well, first off, we could be £1 million corporation. Secondly, those millionaires come from startup businesses. We support our own.
We can look into, you need some money for tools, we'll put money into it.
Yeah, but Woodland, 9 out of 10 startups fail in the first year.
Yeah, I know that.
And
Look, I've started a lot myself. I'm not talking about plowing millions into pie in the sky.
If it does, yeah, but you can't say for sure, can you? You can't say for sure it's going to work. And the investors or the community, the club, you know, they might think, well, hang on a minute, we've just spunked like 100 grand. And then people, you know, do you see what I'm saying? If a business fails, you've lost money.
I completely get that. But these are the two areas, right, that we haven't tried. We have not done it. We can't, politics is shut to us. It's completely closed off.
Agreed.
We've been trying for over 100 years. Over 100 years.
Yeah.
Now, Mark said something about a month ago on PWR, and this is no word of a lie. He said, whilst he was in the BNP, they managed to raise £5 million. His words, they would have been better off buying land with that money.
Yeah.
Right. And today they would be a major fighting force.
Yeah, because of the return on their investment.
Everywhere you look at what we're planning on doing, right, it gives us something we haven't got and can't get it through traditional avenues. You can't go and get power through politics. But power isn't really in politics. Power comes from, right, money. It really does. And the most powerful people today, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, none of these are politicians.
Yeah, agreed.
They're just very wealthy.
But what you've suggested to me is you're going to get about £1 million together and hope to grow that via investments.
No, what I said is I'm going to get £1 million together and we're going to start, firstly, buying land. Secondly, helping people that want to start their own business. And I'm not talking putting £100,000 into any business, but if someone needs £1,000, right, for some power tools, we should be in a position to do that, right, for someone within our group. And we should be able to support them. And if that business takes off, guess what? Now suddenly we've got a successful business backing us.
All right, that's a really fair point, because admittedly, I didn't see that on the website. I don't know if it was because it isn't there yet, but I didn't. I didn't read that.
Look, it's fair enough, Chris. Right? It's very difficult to look at something when you've got a preconceived idea and then not see that preconceived idea. It's like proofreading. You've written something, you know this.
You can't typed it. You can't do it.
If you've typed it, right, you read through it. Well, you ain't going to spot the mistakes because you know what it is.
But my main opposition, I guess, would be I don't see. I mean, I like the way that you've had a look at the situation and considered new objectives. You've considered that. That's what this project is. This initiative is. That's a positive thing for me, because that's required for the people who don't have other options. This might be something they can do, but a community living in the woods. But
I've never mentioned that ever.
Okay, ever. Okay, so that isn't.
No.
So it's just. So it's
just. It could be individuals. It could be up to 20. If we can do this, right, I could set up in, say, a 5-10 acre, let's say a field, right? I can set up 10 to 20.
Individuals have told me that that's what they think it is.
Yeah, well,
not to defend themselves, but
listen, that could be part of it. And I'm still working with groups that want to do this, right? And it's a viable thing, right? It really is a viable thing. So if you've got 10 people that get on well together, they're all on the same page ideologically, right? You could set up 10 cabins, right, and have an off-grid community. That gives more power, it gives them options, because suddenly their outgoings are down, their income's still at the same level. That gives them, and it does though, Chris, right? Because the average mortgage payment is about £1,000 a month in the UK.
I think buying property, buying houses or mortgages is a terrible thing to do with your money.
Okay, but if you buy some land and you build a few together, right?
Agreed.
The same as they do in the province.
Let me just explain my main point.
Yeah.
A small community of people living, I don't know, is it off grid? I don't know, in the woods, while Qataris are buying major parts of London, while the demographic replacement of the nation is just plowing forward.
Yeah, I get that.
See that as a victory.
No, right, okay.
It seems to me a little bit sort of, it's like you've been chased out of town, and
we have been chased out of town, Chris. Right? I'm not running away. I used to get quite angry when people said, "Oh, you just run away to the woods."
Yeah, no, I get it all the time.
Right, and my thing is, like, would you say that if a millionaire went and bought a piece of land and built himself a nice house there, you wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, you'd go fucking lucky bastard," right? That's what. So it's a very British thing as well. But it used to annoy me. Now I'm kind of over it. But what's happened in the UK? What I've done on every metric, owning land works for us. We can do a lot with it. We can actually. We're going to need it. If things go the way I think, right, with a digital ID, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, "I'm not having that digital ID"? If you're not going to get that digital ID, you could very well be locked out of a supermarket. You can't go and buy food, which actually isn't that bad if you've got a whole community where you can go and get chickens, you can go and get a piece of beef, you can go and get your fruit and vegetables.
Woodland, I've lived in communes. I've given it a go a couple of times, and in my experience, and various other people's, they do attract some very strange people, and not always positively strange. And
no, I get that.
Even if you look at the dissident right online,
I get it.
Who are now like getting each other arrested, and that's been happening just recently. I know that for a fact. And just doxing each other, causing people's problems. That's just online. And radical groups have always historically attracted weirdos.
The thing is, I don't actually think the majority of people are that radical. I think they just have identified problems and situations that they don't like, but have no power to change them. And they want to live a different way. And I'm not saying they want to live like me. Hang on. They don't necessarily want to live like me. Right? Some do, admittedly, right? But others just want to live a normal life. Now, I'm part of a few other groups, and we get together, and do you know what? It's a husband, a wife, their kids. And we don't talk politics. We go out, we go to a medieval fair, or we go for a barbecue, right? And it's families and single people and couples. And we go out and have a meal in Witherspoons and just get on. Normality.
Yeah.
But with people who are like-minded, that you can get on with, where you don't have to watch what you're saying.
But I understand that, but outside of that, the environment is changing rapidly, and that the power that land is not the environment as in the trees. I mean,
I know what you mean.
Historically, there's other people building up power through money and land. Most of the entrepreneurs, not most, but the amount of. In Dartford, where I come from, we had to go and see loads of solicitors. And there's solicitors in Dartford, I won't name them, who are like established 1825. And we thought, we'll go with them. There's not a white person in that office.
No, there won't be.
And so, that there's real power in, running businesses, management. You know, when the Tory
Well,
government
kind
said,
of what I just said, right? But that is kind of what I've just said. And you talked about the positive aspects of people collectivizing in
sure.
Bangladesh and sending someone over to buy a house and they rent that house. This is what we can do, but you can only do it by collectivizing.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this, and this sprang from people saying to me, "I'd love to do what you do, but I've only got a fiver." Well, you can't do it, right? But if you get 50 people together and everyone's got a little bit, it's surprising what you can do, right?
Agreed.
It really is. And then you can look, it might be a year down the line and we've bought some land and everything's going well and people are chuffed that it's working, right? We've got some money in the bank. We've got an opportunity to buy a house. So we put it to should we buy the house and rent it out and make a profit on that? Is that something we want to do? And if they say yes, that's an avenue we can go down. But we can't do any of this unless we come together, right? And unless we start moving forward. I could have spent the next year talking about this and fine-tuning it and make sure everything's dead right before I started. From experience, that is not the way to go. You'll never get it done. You need to fine-tune it.
No, agreed. I wonder how you will be able to resist once the authorities get wind of what this actually is, how easily they'll be able to clamp down on it and just say, no, you can't do that. This is against the law.
Well, at the moment, it's not. It really isn't. And I haven't broken any law, and we haven't broken any law. And as long as we stay within it, I can't see how they can. People have come up, and look, there is always going to be objections or things people will say. People say, well, we buy this land. What happens if the government just compulsory purchase it? You know, that's an option. That could happen. Yeah. And you know, so we could be invaded by Russia and they take it all. Yes, right. If we don't do anything, nothing changes.
Yeah, and
nothing changes.
That's pretty much what we were talking about the other night. I don't think that what the current strategies are working because the nation is changing.
Would you believe that money gives you power?
I absolutely do, yes.
That £1 million is not massive in the scheme of things, right? But from our perspective, right, that puts us in a much more powerful position than any other group in the last 50 years.
But I wouldn't,
if used in the right way.
If I had £1 million that was divvied up between 20 or whatever people.
Well, could you think of a better investment than land? And that has doubled in 12 months.
I would max out our individual ISAs and invest in S&P 500s without a doubt. I don't, I just think it's a safer and a more secure bet. It's going to take longer. But that debate can go on all night. What's the best investment?
Listen, the reason I've chosen land, right? One is because I understand it. Two, because we're going to need it. Right? If things get worse, at the end of the day, this is an insurance policy as well. Right? It really is, because I can honestly see. This is the way I've always seen it. There's going to come a time in the next decade where I think society is going to split. The majority are going to go along with what they've been told. They're going to go along with the digital ID and the central bank digital currencies, and they'll be quite happy for it. And the 20-minute neighborhoods, they'll go along with it.
The mask wearers, we could call them.
The majority.
Yeah.
The minority, right, and it will be a small, will say, we really don't want to. If there's an alternative, if there's something else already up and running, at least it's something. But if we do nothing, and we can't wait until that time to start, we've got to start now. so that in 10
Yeah.
years, we have got land, we have got some businesses up and running, we have got some homesteads that are producing fruit and vegetables and meat. Now we at least got something. Without it, we've got nothing, and we've got no choice either.
Yeah. I mean, I had a mate who bought land and they said he couldn't put a settlement on it until he had a caravan that he had to move every 6 weeks for about 10 years or something. And he'd done it. He'd actually done it. And in the end, they said, go on then. It's so big, you can dig footings and that. 2 weeks later, he had 30 travellers pull up on his land.
Oh, mate. I've got 100 horror stories, right?
And you make a good point, actually. You make a good point. I could keep throwing problems at you. What happens if this? What happens if this? And actually, you've made a good argument. What you've essentially said, what else are we going to do? And I think that's a fair point.
I've tried to cover every option, right? Investment wise, it's bloody good, right? If it's doubled in 1 year, it'll be double again next year. So let's buy it now, right? From our point of view, it is somewhere for us to go should the shit hit the fan, and it might do.
But if the shit hits the fan to that extent,
yes,
I don't think there's anything that will stop them taking that off you. They'll just say, no, fuck off.
In which case, right? In which case, it does come down to what you were saying earlier, which is what? Fight with your fists. People will fight for what's theirs. They will fight for their patch of land. Right? They might not fight for someone else's. They really might not.
But
which is why I've structured it this way. The people who are involved in this own it. It's theirs.
You will be an incredible minority.
Yes, we will. But we're a fucking intelligent one.
But, you know...
Mate, it's either that, right, or what? Walk around waving flags and throwing leaflets around. It's like...
I repeat what I just said. I think you're right, actually. That's not what I thought it was. That's not what people have told me. I did look at the website and I didn't get this. Essentially an investment collective.
Pretty much. But an investment that we can use along the way. So instead of putting it into an ISA, which I can't really do much with, I've put it into a land, which I can now split into allotments and a bit of camping for our people, right? And it's going up in value.
Have you spoken to a financial advisor?
Yeah.
I would suggest they'd tell you to invest it in stocks for a few years, then buy the land. Then you've got the stocks and the land.
I'll be honest with you, Chris. I think we've got 10 years. End of. In 10 years, this isn't going to be viable. It will not. In 10 years, the land will be out of our reach. In 10 years, CBDCs will be in. And they will be able to restrict what I do with it.
But if in 10 years the land will be out of reach, wouldn't you also say in 10 years they'll just come and say, no, you can't, we ain't having this. This is not society.
But now we're back to the
fair point.
But what if? Well, mate, I can't crystal ball. What I can do is say at the moment, right, it makes sense. It's a good investment. If I was to buy land myself, right, that's a sound investment. The bonus is I can use that whilst it's gaining value. I can use it. I can use it for my personal enjoyment. I can use it to grow crops on. I can use it to keep chickens on. Whatever I want, I can use that land. I can use it just to put a tent on, take my kids to, let my grandkids run around in it. And it's doubling in value.
You can't live in the woods and take your kids camping. That's an absolute mistake.
Look, I've said my bit, right? But go back, right, and go through that website, right? The mission statement, and actually what I want to do, right? And then by all means contact me on Telegram and go, look, I've got a few ideas. I think you should be doing this. If they're good ideas, mate, I'll take them on board. Right, honestly, but we have to collectivize.
Absolutely,
and we have to start now. There's no point waiting 10 years. We have to start.
there was a lot of
And
people
I'll tell you
the
what,
other day.
Chris, to everyone who's watching, right, I'll be honest with you. I thought, you know, we'd probably get 10 grand or something in a week or two after launch. We hit £30,000 in 2 days. People are not just people understand that they need to come together. They need to put a little bit of money in.
How long ago did it open up?
2 days.
So you started it 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
All right, interesting. I mean, I got a lot of emails, people telling me, why were you slagging off PA? And actually, I wasn't. I think Mark himself has said it's a community organisation. He's trying to motivate people to collectivise. He was getting called out.
Listen, I want to have a word with Mark about using their regional groups, right, as a distribution network, because that's something we're going to need to look at, right? We're going to need to look at how do we get something from A to B then? Do you know, it's all very well that bit of land there that's growing loads of potatoes and loads of carrots, right? But I need them 100 miles away. Well, do you know what? By using that regional network, I can have them 100 miles away the next day. And all someone's got to do is drive 2 miles. And he drives 2 miles, but he's going there anyway. And with the next day, I've got a van load of fruit and veg, which is for this group. So there's things that can be done, but is it small scale at the moment? It is, right? But I can promise you this: the feeling of the people that I'm talking to is this is possible. We can actually achieve something. For so long, we've bashed our heads against the wall and achieved nothing. That this is a way that, do you know what? When we buy that first bit of land, right, party time, because we've achieved something.
Put that on the website.
Yeah. Well, someone said to me, look, they're looking forward to next year when we have the AGM. And I said, I'm hoping that we can hold that on our own piece of land. Just have the AGM there.
If someone came to me and they said, I've got 5,000 to invest, I would suggest, as you know, the ISA. That would be my suggestion. My main concern, just to top it off here, and you can have the last word, but it's the scale of the opposition.
I know. I know the scale. I've been in this 40 years, Chris. Right? Honestly, I know. And the other thing I know is we ain't going to beat them. We are not going to beat them. Fighting them, right, it is a pointless thing. And I've said this all along. What you can do is turn your back, walk away, and start something else. But we need to start building it. We need to start. And it has been done before in other countries. If you have a look what happened with the Velvet Revolution, they started a parallel society.
Because I knew you were coming on, I done my research. I done my research at these kinds of things, and you've got the ones that went absolutely tits up, like what is it, Christiania or whatever. But I also found loads that are still going, that are like 20, 30, 40 years old. So I thought, okay, whether they will
allow it.
Yeah, and whether again, but you're giving it a go because you feel you've got no other choice, and I think that's a noble thing.
I'll let you get someone else on, Chris. Thank you very much for letting me come on as well. It's been an honour.
And likewise, I'll talk to you soon.
See you soon, mate.
See you later. Amazing conversation with Woodlander. I've just got to tell my missus I'm streaming. 42. Hello, love.
How's yourself? Oh,
hang on, mate. I'm talking to my missus. Yeah. Darling, I'm making YouTube. You're all right. Afterwards, I'll send you him, you know. Bye. Sorry, 42, but if you want, I'll say the same to you. How you doing, love?
Doing good, man. How's yourself?
Well, that was a very interesting conversation. Taught me something about making assumptions. I still wouldn't invest in land in England. I just wouldn't. I'd invest in stocks. global stocks, because then you're playing on the you're playing within the pockets of the globalists, and they don't want to stop that. So you haven't got that inherent enemy.
Right. I'll say that there is one inherent good thing comes about actually buying your own house. You have somewhere to live, and you don't have to pay rent after you've paid off the mortgage, and you got to live
Certainly,
somewhere.
but if you would have invested that money that you used to pay your mortgage, you could have had somewhere to live and loads of money.
Yes, but
You talk to any financial advisor, they will tell you that that is not a good way to go. Getting a house on a mortgage is not a good way to make money. It's a very good way of tying up loads of cash until you don't need your house anymore. You know, how are you going to realize the appreciation on your investment? You can't until you sell it.
Oh, but you're going to realize the appreciation on your investment after 30 years, and whenever you're retired and you're not working and you don't have to pay fucking rent. And the problem with, and as much as I'd say, rent somewhere and stick £500 a month every month in the stocks and shares, but you're using that £500 to pay your fucking rent, so you don't have it.
Yeah, but aren't you using that £500 to pay your mortgage?
Yes, but after a while you stop. But after a while you stop paying your mortgage.
How long? What's the average mortgage?
25 years, possibly 30.
Right. 15 years. 15 years putting 500 a month investing, you're going to have a few million.
Yeah, but where are you living?
You're paying rent.
No, but the £500 I would have to put in is what I'm using to pay my rent.
Well, you need to earn a bit more. You need to get another job. Look, this is 42. This is a fact. Go and consult any online or offline wealth generating organization. It's a basic thing that a mortgage is not a good way to make money. No, it's just known.
No, but people aren't paying the mortgage to make money. They're paying the mortgage to have somewhere to live.
Yeah, but you
that's two different things. No,
understood. But
if you want to go full Aaron Clary level minimalism, what you could do is buy one house and rent out the ground floor to somebody else, which means that your wages can pay for your investment, and the other people living in your house are paying your mortgage. But not a lot of people really want to have other people living in their house.
What's happened? You've muted out, mate.
Hello? Right. Hello? Audio. Yeah, no. Hello, check 1 2.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I think that was me because my little Wi-Fi thing, even though I'm on a plug-in. I'm just looking for a video, but I am listening to you just because I'm looking over here. I'm not thinking. Oh,
no, that's fine. You could go the full Aaron Clary route and buy a house and have somebody living in your house that you're paying rent for. A lot of people don't really want to do that. And I do take your point that buying a house isn't an investment for realizing money. But the majority of people that are paying mortgages aren't using it for that. It's because they want somewhere to live.
I'm going to show you a video now.
Right.
I think it's the right. I think it's the right one. I've just had to dig it out because I'm looking for an example. Hang on.
Is this about how much you make if you put money into shares on a monthly basis?
Sorry, go on. I was not listening to you then.
Right. Is this a video about how much you make if by putting
No,
300?
No, it's not. It's not. Hang on. Right. Let's just have a look at this. This geezer is worth about 60 mil. That's his floating cash, but he's also got a business and various investments. Let's just have a look at about 2 minutes of this. Oh, for fuck's sake, because I deleted my history. I don't want your screen sharing tips. Right, share audio. Bosh. Now, this could have been one of about 1,000 videos from someone who's proven it. He's not, this bloke isn't guessing. The video is called "Want to Be Rich, Avoid These 7 Things." I'm going to mute myself, 42, but then I'll play it. Let's just have a look at this.
Number 1, a house. A lot of people aren't going to agree with this one, but buying a house for yourself, if you're serious about getting extremely rich, is one of the worst moves you can make. I didn't always think this way, but in recent years I've changed my mind, mostly due to a conversation with my son Curtis. One day he revealed to me that he'd saved up around $70,000 from working a couple of years as a freelance videographer, and I suggested he used it as a deposit on a house and start paying off a mortgage. Now, before I continue, I still stand by this advice if you're just looking for a slightly better than average level of wealth, but now it doesn't apply to those that want to become truly rich. Curtis was and still is very against the idea of buying a house for himself. At the time, he said to me, "It's taken me years to save up this money. Why would I lock it up in a house rather than reinvest it into building my business, which has already made me a decent amount of money?" I took a moment to think, and I realized he was completely right. Buying a house for himself would lock up all the money he'd worked so hard to earn, meaning he couldn't leverage it to make more, and he'd have to start from ground zero again. Let me clear something up though. I'm only talking about buying a personal property to live in. Buying a rental property or house hacking by renting out part of the property is a completely different thing.
And there you go. That's my point. You've locked your money up.
Yeah, but I've got somewhere to live.
Yeah, but you can rent that.
But here's my point.
You've got somewhere to live, but that money that you saved up for your deposit could have generated enough wealth for you to pay rent in about 4 years.
Right, Chris, not everybody. Right. Well, I get that there are a lot of people, and there are people like you that can run a business, right? And you're good at that, and you can get all that stuff done, right? There are people like me where my skill set is turn up at work, do what the boss says.
Yeah, but this is what they've told you. Stocks investments are easy. Warren Buffett, it's so easy.
Right. Yes, but on a normal wage, you don't have the £500 a month extra to put into that.
Right, but this is why I was talking about Harry the other day when he got a job pushing fucking trolleys in between his other jobs, so that he made enough. He made enough money that he could invest in crypto, and he cashed out with. He doesn't want me to tell you, but he made a lot of money because he was prepared to work those 3 jobs.
Yes, and he also had the ability to buy the correct crypto.
Sure, but only because he learned it.
Right. Yeah, but it's not in everybody's skill set. Some people are just not good. Some people are good at taking some money and investing in stuff and making more money.
42, seriously, this is how difficult it is to invest in money in your stocks and shares ISA. And you don't need to go, oh, what one do I buy? You buy the S&P 500. Or similar trackers. If you don't know what a tracker is, you go to Google. What are S&P trackers? It will tell you. Then you get FREETRADE on your phone. You put money into it from your bank. You link it to your bank and say, top it up. 500 quid. S&P 500 utilities. Buy. Done. I'm sure you're an intelligent bloke. You could.
I can get the process of that. Getting the process of that, I can figure that out. I can figure it out. That's not a problem. It's getting the £500 a month that I don't actually need.
Did you say you don't actually make or don't actually need?
Don't actually need.
If you don't want to generate wealth.
Right. Well, it's just not my skill set.
Oh, right. You just said it was. You can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can generate. How I turn a small amount of money into a larger amount of money is by putting petrol in my car and turning up at my job. That's
and it saddens me because, you know, we don't get working class people don't, you know, my career's advice, right?
Yeah.
At school, this was for my entire education, my British state education. I went into this room. I'll never forget her. Her name was Cherry Barler. She was looking out the window when I walked in there. It took her about half hour to turn around. And she went, okay, so what do you do? What do you want to do when you leave school? I said, I want to go to art school. I want to be an artist. And she went, have you thought about maybe, you know, painting and decorating or something? I said, no, but my dad has, because that's what he's done. And he said, don't do it, go to art school. And she said, yeah, I think you need to wise up a little bit to reality. And that was it. That was mine. Now, I'll tell you for sure, at Eton, at Radley, at all those private schools, they'll be learning about investing and ISAs when they're about 15.
Right.
Okay. And part of the ideology is to make working class people think, oh, it's all above me, it's all out of my skill set. And people go along with that. You know, the amount of people I talk to about this, they go, I can't be doing all that. You know, it's just not me. You know, I'm just a common work. You know, I just lay bricks, don't I? And I'm like, yeah, and you spunk the money for all that hard work.
Well, I'll tell you what I can say. My son was the first male out of my family ever to go to university.
It's in the genes.
Right. I've had, there's been a couple of my cousins went, my sister went, my daughter went. He was the first male out of my family ever to go to university and is now working from a office. Right? Isn't whenever? Do you remember you said about Bartley was saying about he was tired at that age?
Sorry, 42. I didn't mean to giggle then, but I've just realised you said male, not meal.
Yeah,
you kept saying it was the first meal in my. I was thinking,
yeah,
sorry, mate.
Right, he was the first boy to go to university and do a job that involves keyboards and offices and thinking and shit. Whenever I was Barclay's age, I was tired because I'd spent 8 to 10 hours a day carrying bricks and mortar up and down a ladder.
Yeah.
You know, I have a good work ethic. Do you know what I can do? I can write poems. I can write bits and pieces here and there, but trying to run a business, yeah, no, I would lose money.
All right, I agree with you. Entrepreneurial, having an entrepreneurial awareness is not for everyone, but simple investing is a piece of piss, really.
Yeah, but you've got to create the money to do it. But
we're going to go back round in circles. I'm going to tell you to get out of a job.
Right. Can we jump off this and get on to what I think about where England's going?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to tell you it's fucked.
That's what I think, yes.
Right, and here's how I'm going to explain to you why. You've heard of Shankill Road in Belfast?
I have, yes.
Right.
I was going to do my art school work experience there, and they didn't tell me anything about it. They wanted me to go up there and teach art.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mate said, really? He said, you might want to look into that. And I said, yeah, fuck that. Yeah.
Right. Well, the Shankill Road comes out of centre of Belfast, runs onto a road called the Woodfield Road, and basically it's the same road but with two different names because it comes to a certain junction and then.
Well, hang on, sorry, I might have got it confused. What's the Falls Road?
The Falls Road's the one that's parallel, and that's all nationalist.
Right,
the Shankill Road.
That was the one, I think.
Right, yes. The Falls Road's all nationalists. The Shankill Road and the Woodfield are all unionists. There is a road that runs between the two of them, so it is possible to get there, but there's a big fuck-off metal gate.
You show me photos of the fences at the end of people's gardens.
Right, yes, right, okay. Now, these people are... The people we're currently living there now, there's nothing soft about them whatsoever. They are very they're very collective, and they've had to be because in North Belfast was murder central during the Troubles, right? So these are based community people.
Yeah.
About 4 months ago, there was somebody was walking their dogs in Woodfield
I
Park.
can hear you, 40, so I can hear you. Go on.
Yep. There was somebody walking their dogs in Woodfield Park about 4, maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And he got raped.
Wow.
He got raped by 3 men who did not come from this country.
Wow.
Ugly truth, yes, Shankill does have UVF, would be UVF country. Now, the interesting thing is the Woodfield Road is now not people that look like us all living in there. And whenever I seen that and heard that, because I talked to my friend that lives over that direction, he says he lives in the Shankill, doesn't that often be up as far as the Woodfield, but until about 4 years ago, it was the same people living right the way up.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I have seen on the news or anywhere reports anything that has happened since that man got raped was there was a rather strange news article about 4 men that arrived at the hospital in a car, and the car had been hit with iron bars and stuff, and the people were injured.
I mean, I've heard nothing about this thing. You'd think you would. It's quite extreme, right?
Yep. But what I will say is that area still has organized paramilitaries. That area still has people who would say that they're there to protect the community. And I would also say that in the 1970s, the people who are organized in that area in the 1970s would have thought nothing about going to a house that contained someone that they did not want to live there, breaking the front door, taking all the furniture out, putting it in the front garden, covering it with plastic and sheets to make sure it doesn't get wet or damaged, and leaving a note on the door that said, "I think you're moving." And right. And the other thing is, whenever that happened, if any the police or anything came around, nobody seen what happened. Everybody was out at the time. But that area is now full of people that don't come from here. And what I'm saying is, if it can happen there,
that's
right. In Belfast, in Londonderry, different towns and places around Northern Ireland, we would have a natural head start on collectivizing, especially in that we have areas that are, this is a nationalist area, this is a unionist area, whatever. But if it can't be stopped here,
with that kind of setup,
then you have no chance. I went out on my bicycle last week. We've had nice weather in the evenings. I took a wee trot, a wee spin on my bike, and was going past a place called Yormo Park, and I was like, "Am I still in fucking Belfast?"
Wow. I mean, I know that era is just gone, but I didn't know this was happening in the north. Oh, you've gone.
No, sorry. It's in the last 2 to 3 years, I have the amount of immigrants I have seen in and about my daily transport has quadrupled. Now, to be fair, 4 years ago, I would have seen 1 immigrant a week.
Yeah, that was what it was like going back home. It was just a totally different town. Totally different. A few stabbings while I was there.
Yeah. But it's like Belfast is changing rapidly.
Yeah, as is England.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculously fast.
And I would not have thought that, I would say 20 years ago, if that incident had happened.
They'd have found them that week.
Oh, yes. And it would have been made public if they'd been found.
Yeah. They would have
And
been hanging from the street lights or something. But yeah, you make a great point. Yeah. There's none of that collectivism over here. I mean, maybe what Mark's doing, maybe what Woodlander's doing might, but
what actually probably doesn't help, the Ulster Volunteer Force, they have a political party called the Progressive Unionist Party. Right. And strangely, whenever you look at their viewpoints are progressive, which may have something to do with the fact that nothing happened. We don't know.
I'm guessing that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you're to summarize, you think England's fucked past the point of no return.
It could be got back, but I don't think anybody's got the stomach for doing what will actually be required to get it back.
I don't think the global community will let them. It's just not. It's just not an option.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as those sanctions, bosh, no trade with England. Well, that's it. Your country dies in about a fortnight. 42. Take care, son.
Yes.
Let's sort this thing out for a couple of weeks, because we keep putting it off, and we've got to do the Jordan Peterson section, and then we'll do the third one, the sort of summary.
Oh, on the 1st of July, Emma G and I are away for another boating trip.
Oh, me and my missus will be in Vietnam on the 1st of July, celebrating our 5 years anniversary. So.
Oh, very, very good, very good.
Take care, man. Thanks for coming.
I'll give you some pictures of the very, very fancy pants boats we've got this year.
We're going to play fancy photos poker. You send me one, I'll send you one. We'll let the women decide who won. Take care, mate.
Okay, right. All the best.
Ta-da. Someone in the chat, I do like 42. If you're not regular around here, 42 has spent a lot of time very active. I'm talking engaging with government policy active in men's rights, and don't let what you've been told about that organization make you go, oh, that's all incels, because that's what the progressives want you to think. His stories are incredible. We're doing a 3-parter. We've already done the first one about that, the men's rights organizations and movements, and the next one is about Jordan Peterson and why he's been an absolute tragedy to young men. And that is one to watch. Rogue Trader, hello, mate. What happens to the ISA if we have a depression level stock market collapse? Well, what happened when we had the depression level Black Thursday depression level stock market collapse in 1929? We suddenly America had a war economy. And what happens during a war economy? And that's why people got through it. The stock markets are volatile, right? They go up and down all the time. But history will show you they go up and down on an upward trajectory. Now, you can take any 15 years from the last, 80 years? Any 15 years, including, say, 1995 to 2020, if I don't remember, that's like 2010, which I think's got two stock market crashes in it. And your ISA in that 15 years, if you had been putting $7,500 a month in, $7,500 at the exchange rates in those times, you'd have had nearly 3 million. It's 17 years, actually. 3 million. And by the way, your ISA is tax-free. You don't pay any tax on it. No income tax, no capital gains. Any 17-year period since, say, the end of the Second World War. About 500 a month. S&P, simple investments. You haven't got to pick the winners. Or I put, if you put £2,000 on Apple in 2004, I think it was, you could check out now with about 1.2 million. But you haven't got to do that. You haven't got to be as clever as that. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, one of the most respected economic sort of financial knowledges. He put a bet out to the institutional investors, right? There's two types of investors, institutional and retail. Institutional is your big hedge funds, people with decades of experience, billions in the bank and all, they invest all around the world for the wealthy. And then the likes of you and me, we're retail investors. And Warren Buffett said, I will give, I think it might have been 10 million, but it was at least $1 million. He said, I'll give $1 million. I mean, I think this is right. I'll check it out later. I'll give $1 million if any institutional investor can beat the S&P 500. Basically saying that you, with all your computing and your super knowledge, if you can actually beat just the Standard & Poor 500, I'll give you $1 million. And no one took him up on it. For about 10 years, I think no one took him up on it. And then one day, this one bloke did and lost. It just didn't work. Yeah, you can go and look that up. It's out there somewhere. Well, I need a wee. I know it's boring, but it's not that nice sitting around needing a wee. God, it's massive. Jesus. Hello, sorry about that. You know what I really should do? I should get one of those signs that Jimmy from Philly had. He put it on the back of his chair, having a piss or something, it said. Okay, let's get those phone lines open. Well, actually, I'm going to go through the super chats because I might have missed some. Dumb Packers. Missed Brian's first tenner. Thank you, Brian. Is Russia still giving away free farmland in Siberia, hardy folk? Is there a punctuation they're missing? I don't know. Is Russia still giving away free farmland in Siberia, hardy folk? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, go work it. Go work it. Anglo is suggesting that Woodlander become Führer. Thank you, Brian, by the way. Thank you, Anglo. Anglo dropped another one in. Get a lawyer. That's a great idea. He should maybe talk to Gavin Bowby because I think Bowby was originally a property solicitor. I might have just made that up, but because that's how he deals with the mosques, doesn't he? That's how he gets them through planning permission. Maybe I don't know if Woodlander knows Bowby. I could probably put them together. Good call, Anglo. Good to see you as well. Hello, Jord. This is a fantastic idea. I imagine, I'm sorry, it's a bit out of context, but I imagine you're talking about Woodlander thing. This is a fantastic idea, and honestly, it's a long time coming. There are a lot of fail points, i.e. where to buy the land, vetting people, convincing the government it's not a religion or ethno-cult, but Woodlander is realistic. Yeah, and to be honest with you, George, I did learn a lot talking to him. I mean, a few people was like, he cunted you off. I didn't. I like the Woodlander, and he likes me. It's all right. You can make a joke about someone, But yeah, you know, essentially Freemasons done this. They found successful people and they said to them, you know, if you put a bit of money in, that adds to all of our money, and more money is more powerful financially than small money. It's, you know, it's an earner. It makes sense. Nice one, George. Thanks for that donation. Good comment. Mousecat's on the phone. Without being a downer, and again, I'm imagining these donations come through when Woodlander was talking. I just didn't want to interrupt him. Without being a downer, surely the system that's incoming will put a stop to this before it gets started. Now, that's what I think. I just think they do not want this. They do not want to see people, especially indigenous working class people, jacking in the system, moving into the woods and becoming self-sufficient. It's the last thing they want. When they're importing people so that they can get them to do cheap work, the last thing they want is the nationals to be fucking off to the woods. You know, as much as they don't like us, they still want us grafting. They still want us paying taxes. They still want us consuming. And if you start setting up little communities, and again, in fairness, Woodlander did say it isn't principally about that. It's an investment club, essentially. I mean, there's a name for it, isn't there? What's it called? Oh, it's a simple word. Where's Lutus when you don't need him? It's a syndicate. Essentially, it's a syndicate. But if you take the syndicate part out of it and people are starting to put little collectives together in the woods, I think they'll stop that before it starts. Getting planning permission in the woods is ridiculous. Like I said, my mate had to move his caravan every 6 weeks or something for like 15 years. And as soon as he actually got to, you know, as soon as they said, okay, you can, you know, dig footings and build an actual property, tiny little thing as well. A couple of weeks later, there was 30 chalets on there because all the travellers were like, sweet. Now, they knew they were breaking the law, but once they're there, it's hard work getting rid of them because they collectivise. You think, this was in Wales, you think those local Welsh old bobbies are going to go down there? Because the next night, there'll be another 1,000 there, armed. You know, there used to be a site in Abbey Wood. Oh, well, whoops, hang on. There used to be a site somewhere that I used to procure contraband from. And when you'd come out of there, having scored, the old bill would just nab you, like hands around your neck, searching your mouth, which is illegal, but what? They're going to, you know, who cares? They don't. Fingers in your mouth. Fucking, like one of them's got his hands around your neck. And you're thinking, mate, you're going to have to go a little bit lower and a little bit warmer to find that. And then your ego, and the copper said to me once, he went, I'm going to put it to you, because he didn't find anything. He went, I'm going to put it to you. You just went on that site, bought some heroin and or crack, injected it, and now you're fucking off home. I went, well, isn't the bigger criminal here the person selling the drugs? So why aren't you doing anything about that? Or are you just picking on the 60-kilo streak of piss standing in front of you now that will go to court, cost the state, actually the taxpayers, about 20,000, and I'll get a 1-year suspended sentence like I always do, and all the police time? Why don't you go on that site? Are you scared? Is it because I told him, I said, is it because you're scared? And he was like, I said, is it because they're harder than you? And that is the reason. I mean, I get on, I've had loads of good relationships with travellers, but they are a collective. Now, do they fight amongst themselves? Yeah, they really do. But they don't involve the old bill when they've got disagreements. They don't want any of that shit. They just have a fight. But you fuck them over, they suddenly come together and you'll know about it. You'll be hanging from a tree by your feet and they'll break your arms. Try getting out of that one. Not all of them, obviously. Nice one, Mouse Cat. George dropped another one. Cheers, George. Thing is, people hear £1 million and just switch off. They don't understand how much you could really do with 500 people. Chris, Google Urania. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I understand, because like I said, I've done a bit of research about, I understand what you can do, but I don't think £1 million is enough. That it's not a lot of money, £1 million. If you're investing that in land, you're looking at paying all sorts of taxes, corporation taxes, income taxes. You're going to be paying legal fees. Again, I want to keep saying Woodlander isn't ignorant of all this. I think it's only fair to say that he did keep saying, I've got to do something. And I agree with him, and that's why I made that stream the other day, because I think it's fucked. I think it's past all that. I don't think they'll let him do it. I think at the point where anywhere in England, at the point where it's started to look like it's doing something, it's prevented from happening. And that's how the machine works. The Marxist left run the law. They run the legal system. They run the police. They run the governments. And they want it. You talk to any leftist about the problems of multiculturalism, most of them tell you the solution to all the problems is more multiculturalism. And when the Tory government said, we're stopping immigration, if legal immigration, if you want to come in, you've got to prove that you're educated, you've got a certain amount of money in your bank, and that you've got some kind of skill, not labor skill, like you like some sort of business sense, or you've got a career, a vocation. And I remember people saying, oh, that's excellent, because we won't have people coming in claiming welfare. Well, essentially what the Tory government did then was import a management class. And that's why all the solicitors, that's why all the management is being taken over by immigrants, because they structured it to happen like that. If you say we're only bringing in skilled immigrants, Anglo wants to live at number 14 Woodlander Avenue. Packer said, organisation and community, it works for them, Chris. Let's make it work for us. Play by their rules. What are they going to do? 42A, doing love. Well, I'm going to go around in circles. What they're going to do is stop you doing it, because that's what they've already done. They've already atomized indigenous communities. We don't have extended families. Obviously, hashtag not all. Some people have, okay, I get it, but not enough. We don't breed at replacement rates. That's intentional. That's what feminism done to us. Not only feminism, but feminism had a fucking big part to play in it. We're not breeding enough. We're talking about forming communities, but there ain't going to be a lot of us in for next generation. And you can run off to the woods and build your teepee if you want. And I know that's not what Woodlander's doing, but I wouldn't feel safe in that place. I wouldn't feel safe there. I prefer to be a second-class citizen, which I am out here. I prefer to be a second-class citizen in this country than the second-class citizen I was in England. And look, I haven't got some mad fetish for Cambodia. I could have gone. I would have gone to Thailand. I would have gone to Vietnam. I would have probably given China a go. But England was just becoming unbearable. An unbearable place to live. Depressing. Not because of the weather. Not because of this. Not because of the darkness over the winter. I mean, I don't like all that stuff, but there's a kind of poetic beauty to it. But because it was becoming unbearable to live in, and looking at the very near future, I thought, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want to be here. It's terrifying. They locked up nearly 4,000 people for things they said. England put nearly 4,000 people in jail. I think that was 2021. Over the latest figures, 4,000 people. What kind of people do you think they were? Do you think that was immigrants saying things that they shouldn't say, or indigenous people? I mean, I think someone said on the stream the other day, or maybe this one, that Russia only locked up 200 people for, you know, all the gulags in Russia. Well, we're thrashing them. And it ain't even news. You know, can you imagine 30, 40 years ago, someone went to prison for saying something on the internet? Well, it would have been weird because there would have been an internet, or just saying something, you know, and it was recorded. That would be major news. What? They've taken away his liberty for 6 months because he said something that offended someone. Now, let's not forget that England is the country where someone put 4 of those progressive flags together and made the, what was it, the progressive sticker, and the police went down there and cuffed him. Uniformed officers, about 5 of them, and a geezer filmed it, and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And they said something like, "It's a non-criminal hate crime." And he went, "Yeah, but what is it? What did I do?" They said, "Well, you made someone anxious. They reported it." And I mean, this is how insane, and this is why you have no power, because it's insane. And the geezer's now in handcuffs, standing in the street, surrounded by the old bill. Now, when he said to them, "Yeah, but I'm now anxious, you've made me anxious." Well, yeah, but that doesn't count. That doesn't count, apparently. You know, it's absurd. In America now, there's certain states where resisting arrest isn't illegal. That is a line you cannot cross when it comes to implementing laws. Right, couple more super chats. Nice one, Matt. Good to see you. For the Barangville Fund, an air-conditioned dome in the jungle where we make it snow on Christmas Eve. Oh, are you back on the jazz cigarettes, Matthew? I'll think. I don't want to risk that out here. I mean, not because I wouldn't be able to make it, but there's a lot of mines out in the countryside out here. You'd be the legless lander. Right. Okay. Let's open those phone lines, see if anyone wants to come in. I'm surprised by the amount of negative and frankly offensive, rude, and I'm not really surprised. Everyone I talked to said, yeah, they won't come on. That link's in the chat. Manny Moo's in the firm. John, your devices aren't connected, mate. It says it. I literally can't click you in. You need to press something that says something like, oh, there you go. You've done it. Add to stream. Johnny. There's only one Manny Moo. There's only one Manny Moo. Ooh. I don't think your audio's on. Can't hear you. Go on, next stop. All these stoners. Can't hear you, mate. Turn your microphone on. I told you there was money. That sounds positive. Speak.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Hear me now.
That's better.
John, what have you got to say? What have you got to say about the stream the other day?
Well, you don't know me by now. You know what? Well, it's not Blackfield. I'm not Blackfield. I accept everything now. It's all good. I'm not depressed. England's finished. It has been for years. What's going on with everybody?
This is why I made the stream. Did you just say I'm not depressed?
Yeah, no, I ain't depressed anymore.
You've sorted it out. You just went.
I've been mad and depressed for about 10 years, but
I know. Ever since you've spoken on here, this is the first time you said I'm not depressed. You're looking well, I have to say.
Yeah, no, it cheered me up. I went to my sister's funeral the other day.
Fuck off. Okay, that was a nice day, was it? Pleasant. Happy?
No, I just saw the family, or what the ones that's left of us. That's 5 out of 7 gone now.
Wow.
And it was just interesting because,
They're weird old situations, aren't they?
like, the posh side of our family, I spent most of the time with them because I do like them, but it was amazing to watch them social interactions and the sniping and the ad hominem, point scoring and stuff that's going on.
Okay,
I didn't do any of
interesting.
it. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, and I spoke with my brother-in-law, Rob, whose wife with Jane, who died. Well, I've always been close to him. He used to share my bed when he moved into our house. But just sort of the earth, brilliant, and that's where I want to be again now.
Nice. Well, that sounds really positive. But you rushed it in then. You think it's over, do you? You think it's fucked?
Yeah, I've accepted it completely. I'm a bit all Alan Watts, I go with the flow now.
That's kind of how I feel, and I think
I'm in the system anyway because of disability and stuff. So when that fails, I'll just die. That's
okay. Hang on. Did you just say when the pensions fail, you'll just die?
When a welfare system goes, I'll just die. I can't work.
I mean, I've kind of changed my attitude a bit on that because they need to maintain the economy at the levels they need. They do need to get people to come here.
How many noughts can they add, though?
Well, I think the real question is,
blaming the big collapse has been coming since 2008, and they just keep adding noughts.
John, I think the question is, how much more can they tax the workers and the entrepreneurs? Because if they can keep draining them, they've got the funds to give the welfare. But businesses leave countries that aren't tax efficient. That's just what happens. It always has. Soon it's gonna be more tax efficient for me to buy there's these companies that set up houses in Luxembourg, and they've got they put plasterboards and divide each room up into 4 rooms, put a chair in it and a desk.
You're talking about making money and entrepreneurial things again. I'm fine.
No, John, I'm not. I'm talking about you can register your business in Luxembourg because it's tax efficient.
Yeah, you talk about finances again. That's fine. You can make money. There are lots of ways of making money. I understand
that. John, hear me out. I'm not talking about making money. I'm not talking about making money. We were both talking about the welfare system collapsing. And all I was saying was I might be changing my opinion on it collapsing because it will. It probably will, but it will be when the taxes they can't tax people anymore, and the entrepreneurs leave countries that aren't tax efficient first. And entrepreneurs, small to medium enterprise businesses, pay the most taxes. And so when they leave, because it's not tax efficient to be in that country, that's when there'll be a problem with welfare. And they need it to tempt these people into the likes of England and France and Germany.
Yeah, but it's a losing game, isn't it? You know that.
John, do you ever feel? I mean, we had it. I really enjoyed my childhood.
Right, I had a halcyon childhood.
Yeah. I really did.
Side of a rosy country.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
It
was great, wasn't it? It was great. And when I watch those videos of the Silver Jubilee and all that, I just think, how has it come to this in such a short space of time?
Exactly. That was the other point I wanted to make with all you guys talking. You're talking in 20 years as if it's going to be the same, or basically the same, as if the same rules are going to apply. And it's not.
No, I'm not. I think they change them like that.
I understand, because that's history is the only thing you've got to go on. And so, you invest in the stock market. It's as good as anything. But that's in 20 years, that's not guaranteed, the stock market.
Or if the stock market collapses, money's going to be the last of your worries.
But yeah. But
So
I don't think it's guaranteed. You're talking as if it's guaranteed, and with the way that the things are going, you've got to admit it's not guaranteed.
okay, but what I'm telling you is,
I think we'll just divide everything up, and they'll give you extra UPI for the shares that they take from you.
If the stock market collapses to that extent, the reason I say money is going to be the least of your worries is because there'll be a different empire governing the world.
Yeah. I think that's coming. Don't we all think that's coming?
Well, not really, because I mean, I can't say
going to happen. It's just going to go away.
I can't say too much about it, but I've got people on the ground in China, and they're like, yeah, they paint a very nice picture of their economy, but it's they're
on the verge of collapse, aren't they? With birth rates.
Well, because they had their one child policy, and now there's like 10 men for every one woman.
They probably got close to 200 or 300 fighting age men who never got laid.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, problems out there. That's really the numbers, because they killed all the girls, didn't they? People didn't want girls,
and it's just, you know, everything. I mean, nobody really knows what's going on in China, do they? Got to, but I mean, they're in trouble, big trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't think the world's going to be anything like it is today in 20 years.
No,
and
nothing.
I think
like
we're all banking on that. I mean, Woodlander is great, and I do admire him, and he's an honourable bloke, and he's doing what he needs to do. I mean, I accept things. I am Barry Allen Watts. You know, I go with it now. But he's not going to be allowed to keep cattle and livestock in years to come. And
I mean, well, already I've got a mate who inherited a load of money. His missus inherited a load of money. They bought this lovely big old Edwardian manor house. There's a viaduct on their land. They've got a lake on their land, and he's getting like chickens and that. I said, "What are you gonna do? Get pigs and all that?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you gonna actually slaughter them?" He said, "Well, you can't." He said, "To do that, you have to go on a course, and then you've got to get walk-in freezers and that." And he said, "You know, it's going to cost me about 100 grand to do the courses, get the certification, and then the walk-in freezers." And he said, and it's just not viable for two people. I mean, she's pregnant now. She might have had the baby by now, actually. But, you know, I can't see it. Again, Woodlander did say that's not the main part of it. But I think most of the people who've talked to me about it think that is. They think they're going to go and plot up in the woods with Woodlander. That is the 4 people have spoken to me about it, and that's what they that's what they consider to be the main part of it. You know,
like you said, Woodlander said at the end, well, you know, if it comes to all that and all of these obstacles they put in the place to get by, if it comes to fighting, then you've lost. Then you're not going to beat an army.
no.
And you know, maybe there are other you know, less obvious ways of changing things. You know, a little bit. You know.
Well, rather than talking about Woodlander, go on.
I don't think Woodlander is going to work.
Well, rather than talking about Woodlander, because there's more nuances to his project, but let's just talk about people building communities in the woods. I don't see that as a victory. I just see that's just we're like it's like Stig of the Dump, isn't it? It's like we're not allowed to live in houses.
We're not. It's not going to happen. We're not going to kill rabbits and tickle trout. We're not. No. You know.
And you get absolute loonies come and join you, and you can't. You're not allowed to say no when they put their tent up.
And it's basically collective, which you only got to have a couple of bad apples in that 1,000 that he needs. And sorry, mate. No, I hope it works. I hope I'm wrong.
I admire him looking for a solution.
So do I.
I do.
But there
But
are underground things, if you get what I'm saying, that might be worth your energy. Going full face ain't gonna work. Going, toe to toe ain't gonna work. There's got to be something underneath, out of sight.
We tried that. We buried a cargo container to set up an indoor farm.
No, I don't mean that.
No, I know you don't mean that, but I just want to say it'll explain your point or part of it. We done it surreptitiously over a period of weeks. No industrial diggers or anything to draw any attention to us. It was right out in the middle of nowhere. Tell a lie. We did have a little industrial digger when we got to the ballast seam or whatever you call it, but it's so far away from anywhere. We got that cargo container and they got it all covered up. 1 week, and it was discovered. 1 week. We didn't see a single person there for the 10 weeks we were making that project happen. And within, I think it was actually about 10 days. We turned up there one day, and there was loads of old Bill there, loads of the locals.
All England is already.
Well, I think this is interesting. This is my point. I mean, you can't just go on what England looks like. It's the way they've changed the infrastructure of the nation. And
we're dependent on it, all of us, completely.
And I also want to make out, though, it's not something I celebrate. I'm not like, yeah, I'm gutted. I think it's a fucking tragedy. It didn't need to happen. We were never asked. And it's a fucking liberty and a once amazing nation, like you said. Your child was halcyon. Mine was, what a place to grow up in. And in a matter of half a generation, they've turned that on its head.
Mm. I live in a place with probably 5,000, and I'm noticing diversity. And I'm hearing a fucking call to prayer. I've heard it a couple of times, not for long. But I've heard it.
Wow.
I live in a place of 5,000, back there, ass of nowhere. Hasn't changed in it. But diversity is here. It's gone, man. It's all gone. And God, I love this country more than anyone. But this, and you've watched enough Dutton to realise that this is bigger than any politics or anything. This is generational, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's in a shit place, and make the most of it. I'm happy. I sit in this flat. I watch the grass grow. I love it.
There you go.
I feed the rooks. I feed the birds.
That's what my channel's been about for the last couple of years. Make the most out of your life, and because that's all you can do at the moment. If you're young, you've got different options to do that. If you've got children, you've got different options and different limitations. But don't put all your eggs in that basket that there's going to be this revolution, because sorry, that's not. That doesn't happen.
And if it does, yeah, brilliant. If it does, because that's what it's going to take, then pretty much a global revolution. What's going to be left after? Fuck all.
Yeah, and I hear people calling for wars. Wars don't last 1 or 2 years. Wars go on for fucking ever. A war isn't bombing Iraq. That's not a war. That's bombing Iraq. An actual war. Oh God. When people call for war, I just think. The thought of it, just
again, people they're strange, aren't they?
But you're not depressed, John.
No,
it's amazing.
I'm happy watching the grass grow.
It's amazing. It's an amazing turnaround. I don't care what makes you happy, but every other time you've come on here, you've gone, no, not happy. Shit life.
Yeah, I was stuck in that archetype for such a long time. The disagreeable hermit.
It's amazing that you've just changed that. Amazing. What a change. What a massive change.
Well, as long as I'm content, I've got nothing to complain about, really. But I do get outraged occasionally, and like I said,
Of course.
like the birthday, I'm noticing in a little nothing town. It's unstoppable.
Thanks for coming on, John.
But
You've cheered me up anyway. John
Hello.
Manny is happy, people. Take care, man. Right, we've got time for one more because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 20. I've done 2.5 hours nearly. Feel free to grease the cogs of the stream. Anglo has done that many times. He says, John, Enoch Powell, MBE was right. We're in trouble, brothers and sisters. Collectivism before we have rivers of claret. But Anglo, the problem, thank you, mate. You know, we were stronger when Enoch Powell was talking. We were stronger when Mosley was talking. We were in a better position then, better financially, better in terms of the demographic makeup. They got stopped. They got trampled on. And, you know, like Mark was talking about the BNP, they had 5 mil. We were stronger then and it got trampled on. And look who it is. That's it.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Nice to see you. Sorry, I had a couple of other people in the green room, but Mousecat was in first, and this is the last one because I can barely talk. Look at you, you silver-haired devil. What? That's a lovely shirt. Oh my God.
Well, summer, isn't it?
You didn't warn me about, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
How are you, love?
I'm okay.
You sent me some interesting emails recently.
I always do.
Oh, Mousecat. Sorry about the very interesting article you sent me in the Spectator. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a feeling about the well, obviously I'm a bit similar to you. I'm trying to sort of do the investment as well, spread my bets, so to speak. And yeah, a few things have come up, and I think you're right. I think there's going to be another sort of .com boom, very similar to what happened before once with the AI, obviously now. But I think there is going to be that. How that works with the rest of the economy, I don't know, because there's a lot of other sales figures and things like retail's going down. A lot of other things aren't good in the economy, but I think the AI might be like a little thing that's just going to lift the markets up.
Without a doubt. Look what's happened to Palantir. I think you know, tech has been struggling for the last few years. You know, your Google, Apple, all that lot. But you can invest in tech indexes where you spread your bets across all the tech companies. But because of the AI explosion, which no one see coming, tech is now flying. Palantir's up 100%. Everyone was telling me, "Oh, you fuck off that there. So that's just nonsense. He's a loony, the bloke that runs that company." 100% increase.
And metals.
Well, you're doing metals because her father used to invest a lot in metals, and we do gold anyway. But coins, she likes coins, so she has a little dabble with
You got to be careful. Well, hang on, Mrs. Me in it. Are you talking about investing in precious metals or buying stocks in metal companies?
Yeah.
ETFs. ETFs.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Coins, gold coins.
What? Be careful investing emotionally, though. I understand your father was in that game, but you know,
we both can we both sit here?
You can.
Can I sit on your lap?
You can get on the bloody chair. Yeah, you can have a go.
They're amazing.
Oh, I've done this for years. Oh, hello.
When you two smile, it's so convincing. It's like a happy couple. It's a miracle what you two have done.
He's got a lovely lap.
Yeah, we have our ups and downs.
Never heard it called a lap before, but you know, it's still early over there, isn't it?
I'm very polite.
one day we'll have a get together. I don't know whether
Yeah,
it'll be over there or over here. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
But you know, this whole thing about Woodlander, I understand what you're saying, and I think it's worth a punt. I think he should have a go at it, and I think other people should get on board with it, because it's a sort of a last.
Sorry, I just dropped my glasses.
It's a sort of a last chance saloon, isn't it? Last chance sort of thing of having a go at trying to do something collectivized, and I think it's very noble. I do, but me personally, I think I've said to you myself that as we're getting older, because I think that's more for families as well. I think that would be really the only way that's really going to work is if you're getting younger people involved in it as well. People my age, I could put money into it, and I will do. I'll put something towards it. But for me, I think my life is going to have to be outside of this country as well. I think I will probably end up doing a similar thing.
Yeah, the old song, we've got to get out of this place. It's the last thing we ever do.
We can see that. You can see everything coming down at every angle. You know, everything and it's generational. I think Manimu just said it earlier on. The younger kids that are coming up through it, they are in total belief of the message.
Yep.
And you can't fight against that. You know, we're older people. We're not.
And that's what I meant about that. All that Bud Light stuff. We all go, yeah. But in terms of branding, all those younger people will be saying, look, all those old people, look, they can't handle putting a trans bird on a can. And in 5 years' time, Bud Light will be one of the top-selling beers going because they're all talking about it. We've played into their hands by kicking off about it. We should just shut up.
The media has played into the hands as well because they like promoting it, and every program I watch has it. And it's
they're not playing into their hands; they're playing with their hands. They're shaking their hands. You know, they're propaganda wing.
They're bought and paid for. But there was something I mean, Michael Pagan put me onto a stream the other day, which was the Blackpilled stream. This Devon Stack, and there was an older video. I think it was a Christmas one he did with our friend Wozy, and basically he said, what has actually ever been pushed back? We have these little wins, like let's say your Bud Light, we might have these little wins, but what do we actually turn around the other way and push back? We don't. And this hasn't happened for what win have we actually had in the last sort of 20, 30, maybe 40 years?
Even if you look at Trump, and whatever you think of Trump had America energy independent. They were actually selling the stuff.
That's right.
And you know, that's incredible. He started no wars. You know, he was actually talking to Putin, which I thought was do that, makes sense. You know, he reckons they'll stop that Ukrainian war overnight, and I believe him. And because he wasn't part of the you know, I don't like the term, but the deep state, they crushed him. They just made up loads of shit, one after the other. Bosh, 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 bosh. And they're still doing it. They're looking at sending them to prison.
Just keep doing it. And I watch it every day. And just to set me up for the day to be fucking angry.
I don't know what you do.
Arresting your political opponent. You know, that's Hitler, Stalin. I can't even think of his name, Biden. I just want to read this one out so I can take it off the screen. Yeah. Cheers, 99 red pills go by. Here's a $5. I respect someone fronting up to possible criticism. We need tougher skin in this movement, and we have plenty of crowds in our pocket. That's very kind. I feel like I didn't get the criticism, but I kind of knew I wouldn't because that's how it goes, you know. That's how it goes. Most of the people who've come on, apart from Woodlander, I suppose, is kind of on side. The minutes, like I know, you know, we talk off stream, and I know that you've worked fucking hard for a long time in your lives, and you just telling me you're probably gonna go somewhere else and you'll get accused of running away. I think that all that work, all that effort you've put in, all the stress, I don't think people realize the stress of being an entrepreneur. That's why most people don't do it. You have to
taxes.
It's up and down. It's up and down. You have to put more hours in than a day worker. And I don't think you should, when it comes to retirement, have all of that taken away from you, have all that freedom and a nice life taken away from you. That lovely little village you live in, tomorrow, 2 busloads of people could turn up and there'd be nothing you can do about it.
Well,
I don't think our Lord would let that happen.
Yeah, where the village we live in is run by the Lord, unless he changes or when he passes it on to his younger son, he does something. But even saying that, we are getting housing estates up the road. I mean, 2 miles up the road, at the end of a long lane, place called Hatfield Peveril, they are building houses left, right, and centre.
It looks like Alcatraz.
Yeah,
It's fucking awful. Cheaply built little roads, and it looks.
So
terrible.
we're gonna be enriched.
What boozers are they going to be drinking in?
Well, the boozers aren't doing too well.
Well, they're closing down.
Yeah, they're closing down around.
Are they really?
Yeah, well, apart from the ones that do really good food, I mean, them ones are sort of.
What the one at the end of your garden?
Yeah.
No. Someone's staying open. No one's staying open, no matter what. But yeah, it is changing. It's changing around here. I'm starting to notice it. I mean, especially up in Hatfield. It's about 2.5 miles up the road, and just you're seeing
3.5.
There's Africans. We're getting Africans all around here pushing pushchairs, and it's families. They're probably the nice ones, they're the good ones, but it is changing. It's the demographic, you could see it, and it's happened since COVID. It's massively, I don't know what the influx has been, but ever since COVID, it's almost like you've lifted the tea towel and all of a sudden, boom, and everyone's come out, and it's a different group of people.
I mean, I don't know whether anyone has mentioned this already, and I'm only thinking off the cuff here, but maybe history will show us that the coup was a smokescreen while other foreign policies were getting, it was like, I remember the whole Rave Act, remember you can't have parties in the woods. And while that was going on, the amount of laws they were just pushing through that, changed society radically.
You couldn't get together in groups. And
we roved in the woods.
Yeah. You carried on.
We used to organise our own ones. Just go
I just realised I'm looking at myself on the screen and think, God, aren't you fucking old, love?
No, as I said, the pair of you look great. It doesn't matter how old you look; it matters about the smile on your face. That's what counts.
We try and laugh at everything. I mean, to a certain point, but yeah, we want to get out, and it's just finding the right place, the best way to do it.
I'm not being funny. I love where we live.
Oh yeah,
and
of course,
I love the house I live in. It's not a house, but I love it. And I love the village and I love the people. But there's people moving in who are a lot younger and they don't get the ideal of living in a rural area. And they go, oh, what's that smell around here? Oh, we want to stop that. And one person sent me on a village hub and went, there's a big mountain of white powder in the field.
It's not
What is it? And I went, that's our cocaine supply. I couldn't help myself. I had a couple of ciders and I went, yeah. And I went, no, it's being imported.
Yeah, we're getting all the people that are moving here with their families from the city. And
so you're getting the rich white flight from the cities. Okay. I mean, I used to think naively, and I'm only talking about a couple of years ago, that would happen. The rich would get out of the cities. But, what I've seen, the amount of people they're talking about bringing in, the amount of houses they're talking about building, you've just confirmed that with the load up the road from you. There will be nowhere that is English, like England. There will be nowhere to go. To get away from all of that. And the problem is, I always say this: I don't hate any group. I don't hate any group. I live in a country full of foreigners. I'm with a foreign woman. She's got brown skin. But what I don't like is multiculturalism because it is proven to fail. Crime goes through the roof because mixing groups of people doesn't work.
I always say, when in Rome, to be a Roman, and and people that come over here are trying to ban things and like, we don't want this, we don't want that, and we want our own stuff.
And successfully doing it as well.
Yeah, but in Spain, a lot of people have moved over to Spain from England and going, oh, we want streetlights, we want footpaths, we want to ban this, we want to ban that. And you go, no, that's a Spanish way. Their traditions, their heritage. And I have to fight, because I do a lot of community work, free and gratis, and I have to face so much to get through rules and regulations, and even to put up a maypole and, you know, all the stuff. And it's
we have to
unbelievable.
get insurances.
Insurances.
Yeah. Anything we try to organise now has got to have an insurance.
Well, I'm doing
And then it's intentional. It's intentional. Make it harder. Make it more difficult. You know, put people off their tradition.
On the green, and I'm doing the bacon. Well, you're doing the bacon
I
sandwiches,
was doing
with
the
me.
bacon rolls.
But I have to get licenses just to sell some pins and a little
What,
bit
for
of
like
beer.
food and hygiene things?
Yeah, everything. I have to do it. And it's just
I imagine the deaths in your local village fete over the years, that the numbers are like, you know, going through the roof. That's why they need to get insurance. All those maypole deaths. Out here, I am a second-class citizen. I mean, they're lovely people. They don't spit at me when I walk past or anything. But it's a privilege to live here. I would never consider, activism to get them to change their way of life.
Yeah,
That's you wouldn't do that in someone else's country. That's insanity.
That's why I said you go there and you tread lightly and leave no footprints, because
perfect.
You know, it isn't your land, is it?
Well, 21 quid it cost me today just for that bloody license to sell a bit of pins. 21 quid. So it's like speeding fines and all sorts of stuff like that. They're making lots of bucks.
Revenue generation.
We're doing it for absolutely fuck all.
So it's not even a profit-making thing. You're not.
Raising money for the church, so the church could keep going, because Church of England don't put anything into it.
They're knocking them down, aren't they? They're knocking them down. I mean, again, as I think when I was talking to Packer, whenever I talk about the demographic makeup of Cambodia, I always stress 98% Buddhist Khmer people. Because their religion is active as, well, I don't want to say that because it's a bit rude with religion. And, you know, out in Phnom Penh, they've just repainted all of the pagodas or temples in Phnom Penh. And there's a lot of them in just this tiny little city. I can think of 6 just off the top of my head. Bosh, bosh, bosh. And they've just repainted them all gold. And they look amazing. And they're busy. People from the provinces send their kids, their young boys, to there. You're going to go and do a year, learn about Buddhism. You know, if you want to carry it on, that's fine. But just learn it, because this is our culture. They do every other month there's a Buddhist festival and people get involved. All the shops close. They all go back to the provinces. They do the Festival of Ancients, where they celebrate something like 6 generations, and the elder people tell the kids the names of their great grandparents and the great and this is all kept alive. Now, Packer was saying, what are you going to do when it comes out there? It is changing. The younger people are starting to drop out a lot of the traditions, but a lot of them aren't as well. And I think one of the reasons they might have a chance is because they can see what has happened to so-called developed nations that have dropped out religion, dropped out tradition. What has that actually done to that nation? Well, look, so maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, sadly, religion, for all its bad, there's been so much community built around it, and that's why we do the things for the church, because it's like a hub. It's like a hub for the village. It's a lovely church anyway. I mean, I'm not religious.
History,
but I will, if I have to stand up beside anyone, it will be a Christian, because obviously our morals and everything else we've been brought up with is based around that.
But I like Buddhism as well.
Buddhism, cool,
what's the chant? When you meditate and you chant.
Not Harry Krishna, is it?
I don't know the Young Ming Dang. Dania Claude. Dao Knyom. I'm just random. I've had 3 hours of Khmer lessons and I can speak it out in the streets. It's a ridiculously good course. Anyway, that's another conversation. It's getting late here. The minutes. Bless you both. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Right. You jump off. I've got to switch this off. Hold on.
All right, okay.
Come on, off. Come on.
I've got my glasses down there.
Look at him. Look at him.
Have a look at my bottom.
Slap your ass.
What an ending. Slap your ass. Well, people, there you go. That is it. That is the end of the stream. Well, I thought, based on everything I saw, there'd have been a little bit more pushback, but apparently not. Let's go here. Now, if you are new here or you haven't been here for a while, I'm also a writer. It's free. Substack. Link in the description. Substack. You go over there. If you subscribe, also free. Every new story I write gets sent to you. I've got one that I'm probably going to finish tonight. So if you subscribe today, you'll get my latest story. I write short stories on there. I've got a novel coming out, but, you know, it's been taking a while. But it would really help me out because that is my main passion in life, writing. And when people read my stories, and I do write for people who aren't passionate about reading, I try and make beautiful things out of words that people who don't usually read might be able to get their teeth into. You know, it's funny, it's gross, it's vulgar, there's a bit of pathos in there. I like it. And it's taken me, like, I published my first novel when I was 24. But to be honest with you, it's taken me 30 years to get to the state where I'm actually happy to be publishing because I feel like I found my voice. So if you want to have a look at that, Substack, link in the description. Hang on a minute, 1 second. I'm so gutted I got rid of all my I deleted my entire history. That was such a bad mood. Bad move. Is this the one I want? I accept. Good Lord, why is my internet so slow? That Windows update, don't do it, people. Don't do it. Okay, I've got a bit of music. I will play a bit of music. I'll put all your comments on the screen. Feel free to chuck a bit of money at the grift. Grease the cogs of the glorious House of Scrubs. This is a band called Household. And this is dedicated to my man Ragnar. And it's called New Shoes. I want to thank everyone who donated. I want to thank everyone who's watching this stream on replay. Because I know it's not as much fun when you can't join in with the chat. And we do get a lot of views. That last stream's had nearly 5,000 views, and that's lovely. You know, I know, you know, when you bring in your big guns like Dan and Hugh, that sort of happens, but it was still lovely. It still meant a lot to me. And so the boy Cray and the boy Rags for looking after the place, everyone who donated, and most of all you lot who keep coming back here, because I love this place, I love this community, and it's a real privilege to be able to stream and to be able to debate with people. Most of all, even if we don't agree with each other, we can get on and we can talk and disagree like adults. Look after yourselves, people. This is New Shoes from Household. Somewhere. Let me know you can hear it, please. All right, Negaristics boy, hope you're all right, son.
I'm stupid, I'm lazy, but in the discotheque I still look crazy. Love me, baby. I only tell lies 'cause the truth escapes. Summertime, we can get new shoes. I'll have brown and you can get the blues. I'm knackered, I'm fading, but in the right light I still look vaguely human. Happy it won't be long before we cave in. Summertime, we can get new shoes. I'll have brown and you can get the blues. You can get the blues.
Nice one, Jambo. The old Friday 20 pounder. Perfect answer.
Don't worry about my
I will be streaming more though, mate. I've just been busy with the old.
love me and I feel the same again tonight. Summertime, we can get new shoes. I'll have brown and you can get the blues. You can get the blues. You can get the blues. You can get the blues.
I don't know what happened, mate. That's all right. No dramas. Bonus track coming up. You get on that Substack, boys and girls. This is called Get It Out. Hello, darling.
You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Tears of a baby roll down your cheek. Your eyes are wide, so look around.
Good to see you out, Lisa.
You've loved to give, so get it out. Get it out anytime.
Who's called that? That'll be nice.
Love sits beside me. I feel complete. You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Your eyes are wide, so look around. You've loved to give, so get it out. Get it out.
shame that it's sort of over. Oh, Bally G, that was a first take as well. I give him the chords. I just played the chords. You that in my dream with me, love me, your eyes are wide. Take it. He went, all right, let's go. So he set up the logic. And I went, and he went 2, 3, and first take that he just improvised that. He's a fucking amazing guitar player. If we achieve nothing else tonight, people, we saw John Manimoo not depressed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cope with that. Hoita!